Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, broadcasting on the DVC to all points unknown. If you're within the sound of my voice, you're listening to Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Hello and welcome home. Thank you for joining us on episode 143 of Welcome Home, a Disney Parks and Vacation Club podcast. I'm Tom. I'm here with Trevor and Damon. What's up, guys?
Hey, good morning.
Hey.
We also have Becky with us today. Special guest Becky. Our friend Becky that has decided to rejoin us. Those of you on the Discord see how we produce the show, where I just was on the Discord last night and talking to Becky. I was like, hey, do you want to come on? It's kind of how it goes sometimes. So appreciate you coming on, Becky.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Always excited to talk to more people who also like Disney.
Well, and part of why we wanted to talk to you, Becky, is you just got back. You just got back from Disney, and you did
like yesterday morning. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. And you had told us a little bit about your trip, and so I wanted to have you on just to go over your trip a little bit. So
thanks. Yeah,
but like, what's going on with everybody before we get into your trip? Like, what's up? How's everybody doing?
Busy, man. Busy. Sports are kicking off. We were just at college visit yesterday for my oldest. It's interesting because while he does play soccer, I always seem to forget how good of a swimmer he is too.
Oh, yeah.
So we were actually on a recruiting visit yesterday for swimming, even though he plays soccer. So it was interesting for sure.
Well, that's helpful, though, to have more than one, right? So
yeah, it definitely is. He may try to play both in college. He may just play soccer. He may just swim. We don't necessarily know just yet, but it was nice. We went over to, what is that? Virginia Wesleyan.
Okay.
So it was a nice campus. I mean, it was definitely interesting. You know, we have tennis is kicking up. So my daughter has her practices. She's got her first USTA match on Saturday. Yeah, this upcoming Saturday. And then swim season for my middle one has already kicked off. So it's busy, man. It's busy already. Like this week, it's so busy that we can't even do everything between all of us.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that makes it challenging.
I feel
It
this.
does.
I feel this pain every day. And my kids are in the level of you.
I don't know if you necessarily feel the 4 a.m. 3 times a week pain, though. That's the pain that really is tough.
That's by design, because I only let my kid play the hockey that doesn't require that.
So, like, this is what our Wednesday looks like. So Wednesday morning is a 4 a.m. swim practice, and then they go to school. And then he's got a second swim practice. So he has doubles on Wednesdays. The other one has a soccer game, and the other one has tennis lessons. So that's like just Wednesday, just by itself.
I can't imagine the calendar you have to keep for that.
Everything's so busy regularly that you almost just kind of it is what it is. Like you just, again, adding 4 days of tennis a week to an already busy schedule was a lot. And I'm still disappointed about this whole Disney tennis thing. Like it's so disconcerting that they don't have a tennis tournament at Disney. I don't understand. I still just don't get it. I mean, they have the facilities to do it. They have everything to do it, just like they do with soccer. They have soccer tournaments. I don't understand why they don't have tennis tournaments.
Well, baseball ones too. I mean, they do just about everything, except for tennis, apparently.
Yeah, volleyball. I mean, everything. It's just they don't do tennis, and their tennis facility is gorgeous. That's what's so crazy about it. It's not like they don't have a tennis facility. I mean, it's great. Like, so why not do something like that? I don't understand that. So, yeah. Whatever.
I gotcha. See, I mean, it's funny, Damon, because you're like on the opposite spectrum of me, whereas like, I'm taking my daughter to swimming lessons every Saturday for
how old is she?
She's 3. So
yeah, see, so in our family, no one starts swimming lessons before 5 because
really? Okay.
the again, and we knew all our kids were going to swim competitively, but the process is right. Like you can't learn to like you have to fix if you start earlier, you can't swim correctly, right? So then when you get older, you just have to correct what you were doing before. That's been the process, right? For our kids, but I understand the need for water safety. Yeah, at the end of the day. So
well, that's all she's really learning, right? She's like learning how to float and like, hold her breath underwater and like, she's not learning like how to, actually do like real swimming, She's just learning to survive in the water basically. So, But yeah, so that's been fun. She doesn't necessarily love it either, so we're still working on that. But she's starting to like it. But 3-year-olds like stuff and hate stuff. The same thing. Their mind changes every minute, pretty much. So
yeah, and then let's see what else we got going on. Encato's coming out soon, isn't it?
What?
Isn't Encanto coming out soon?
Oh, I don't know.
I think
it is.
Encanto, whatever it is.
I don't know. When is that coming out?
I completely forgot about that.
Oh, I'm excited for that. Yeah, Encanto. Let's see. I think it's the end of this month. I thought.
See, I'm always focused on the Marvel stuff. Like, so although I haven't gone to see, I have not seen.
No, it's November.
Yet,
My bad.
November. Okay. I haven't seen Shang-Chi yet, but I'm excited for that.
Man, he's awesome in Kim's Convenience.
Yeah, I've heard that. But I mean, I heard the movie's great too. I mean, I haven't gone yet.
I'm not interested in Marvel stuff anymore. I'm out on that. So it's too much work. Like I don't have that much energy to watch that much stuff. Like
there's a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm already so far behind. Like I don't really want to get back in it and then watch old CGI effects, in older films. No, I'm good. I'm out. I'm out on all Marvel stuff. I tried What If and I couldn't do it. Like it's just this whole look, no one does these other universes better than Rick and Morty, so why do I need to watch anything else?
I haven't watched What If yet, so it's on my to-do list.
I don't love the animation style. I'll be honest with you. I don't love the animation style.
That's actually my barrier to it, Damon, is I don't love that kind of animation style either. And it's like the same reason why I'm not really interested. I know, Trevor, you're really interested in that Star Wars Star Wars show. Not interested.
Oh, Visions. Or
Visions. Yeah.
Bad Batch, I didn't love the animation either, though.
It's that cel-shaded animation, which is very hit or miss. But yeah, Visions is a totally different animal, in my opinion.
I've looked at the problem with Visions is there's one that's going to have Boba Fett in it. And then there's like 6 others that they're characters I don't really even care about. I don't necessarily know why I want to watch it yet. I'm not sure. I mean, I might watch it, but Bad Batch was not it for me, man.
I feel it's more, so I'm, like we talked about it on the Discord, a couple of us, that there was another series called The Animatrix when The Matrix was big, and it was a bunch of short stories all done in different animation styles. And the whole point of it was just universe building. It wasn't like you weren't getting attached to characters or anything like that. It was just expanding the universe, which is what I'm looking forward to for Visions. But the
universe is already like pretty good, right? Like, right, do I need more?
Well, but I feel, outside of the mainline stuff, there is a lot of things that they kind of ignored in the expanded universe, or they have ignored for years. So hopefully we'll see.
But what's going on though, right? You know how the universe works, right? It's not like, in some of the other universes, right, where there needs to be more world building. It's like, well, why did this happen? Or there's magic, or there's this. I mean, I don't know. It's going to be interesting, but unless it brings something game changing, like, I don't need to see somebody, making a deposit at the bank, right? That's kind of the same thing, right? Like, I understand how a bank works. I understand how money works. And I understand people walking there. So do I need to see that? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not putting that much expectation on it.
Yeah.
We'll anyway. All right. So now that we've gone off into a completely deep rabbit hole, why don't we get back on track with, we have Becky nicely sitting here waiting for us to finish being silly.
No, I'm just lucky that my kids insist on watching all of these things together, and we just don't have the time. So I'm like, I'm okay with waiting for some of these like deep dive cartoons that I'm gonna not love. So, but sometimes I'd watch them myself or with my husband. But if they want to all watch them together, I'm just gonna wait for all of them, and then maybe we'll never get to them.
It's interesting because my wife and I have been doing this this date night thing where she got something off of Etsy where it's like there's like 15 envelopes and all of the envelopes have a different movie in it and like an accompanying meal and like dessert and like drink. It's a fun thing that we're doing. Anyway, last night ended up being Lilo and Stitch, which my wife has never seen. And so good.
No, just what?
I know. I was surprised she hadn't seen it, but I told her ahead of time. I was like, listen, just so you know, this is a really sad movie. This movie's gonna make you cry. And it was one of those ones, where I had seen it before. My daughter and I had watched it together. I don't know why my wife hadn't seen it, but she's like, why are we watching this on date night? It's so sad. I mean, it's fun at the end though, but it's funny because going into it, she had a totally different expectation of what Stitch was going to be. Like, she just kind of always assumed like Stitch was like the fun-loving character and not like mischievous and,
almost the antagonist.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but I just thought that was funny. So anyway. All right. So Becky, let's talk about your trip.
Okay.
Let's talk. You just got back yesterday. You were there for what? How long?
We woke up at like 3:30 on Tuesday morning to go to the airport. So.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So we went Tuesday to Friday night kind of. And then we stayed at the Hyatt inside MCO because I was not trying to take Magical Express at like 3 a.m. That's not a game I like to play. So.
Yeah, I get that.
So we got to Orlando at like 11:30 on Tuesday morning probably. And the Magical Express was a total walk-on. So I just chuckled. My husband and I were both just like, look at the line. So many people. Because it's all anybody ever posts is just negative nonsense. Oh, yeah. And so it's like, really? It took 13 seconds. That's it. The people waiting on our bus probably waited 7 minutes, and we were the last ones on there. Like, it's really fine.
Is it because the parks aren't busy right now, or because the service is winding down, or I just because I've also seen people posting lately that the lines seem to have not been bad, but
I just think any line looks like it's a big line, but parties are together. Like it's like maybe it's 6 parties, but it could be 40 people. For Jeremy, it could be 79. Yeah. I don't know.
I still don't understand how he had 70 people on the trip with him, but
no.
He's going to be mad that I brought... Jeremy's going to be mad we brought you on and not him.
He did go before us. So.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk to Jeremy. But so where did you stay? Where did you end up staying?
So we had to split. We moved every single night.
Wait. So you did a split stay where you moved every night?
Yeah.
That's kind of fun, though. That's fun without kids, right? So
right. That was, yeah. So I booked Boardwalk Standard View Studio like months ago. I just saw it pop up. It's 9 points. And I was like, oh, that's the day after Labor Day. It won't be busy. I'm going to just reserve that. I can cancel it. And so I did reserve it. And then I was like, I'll just build a trip around it. That seems logical. So that's what I did. I saw a beach club studio pop up the next time. I'm like, oh, I guess we got to stay there. I've never been there. And that was like 14 points. Then the hard one was the next. I was like, we could just do 2 nights. But look, there's a 1-bedroom at beach club or at Boardwalk. So we'll just walk back over again. So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah. And it was a 1-bedroom garden pool. So I immediately booked that and waitlisted Boardwalk View because it's the same points. So luckily that came through and I just got all excited. I'm like, this is going to be perfect except for the homelessness every day. So, but we did find a way to kind of get around that, which was nice. So we went to go check in and it wasn't quite ready yet. So we walked over to the Speedway and got some beers and a few snacks and some preparatory Powerades to be ready for food and wine. So, we did that. We went to Big River Grill and we'd never eaten there. So that was good. Walked over to Epcot Guest Relations because since I knew the annual pass sales started the next day, there was 0% chance I was going to try to go there the next day. But we had like a few different tickets attached to our account. Since I get a military discount on tickets, I grabbed them like 2 years ago and we didn't use those. But they don't expire for 10 years. So I'm like, well, I'm not going to use those now. So, because the new ones don't have that long. So we had to make sure that they were prioritized right in their system because that gets messy, I guess. I don't know if you guys have ever...
Sounds messy. No, that's not a situation I've ever run into.
Yeah, it's... If you tap in and it pulls from the wrong ticket, it's a disaster. So I was like, don't touch these. They're good for 10 years and we paid next to nothing. So just leave them. So... But by that point, like our room was ready and we went and got to our room and it was actually like staring straight out at the pool. So I was like, well, this is not a standard view. That's nice. So.
And you didn't have to deal with a creepy clown looking at you.
Right. To be fair, I really hate that animation style, though. I've always called it Ren and Stimpy style. So it's fine, though. Like, but yeah, I was explaining to my husband, I'm like, and it used to be that clown. He goes, oh my gosh, we could have been staring straight at its head all day. I'm like, luckily we won't be in here very much. So, but then we got in our costumes for Boo Bash, which were Jungle Cruise skippers. And then actually we met up with Derek DeBoer and had some beers out on the, I don't know, I guess it's like the balcony from the lobby of the boardwalk that like overlooks the village green. Yeah. So the three of us are sitting out there with our beers. And Josh and I are in our costumes. So people are walking by and just looking at us like, what the heck is happening with these cast members chugging beers on the balcony?
Well, you guys have good costumes too. Like your costumes are legit. I mean, we've seen pictures there. Yeah, they're very legit.
So like we had a great visit. It was really fun. And, eventually we wrapped that up with some good pictures and, hopped on Magic Kingdom bus and went straight to Boo Bash. So, they were actually letting people in probably like 15 minutes before 7. So we didn't have to wait. The line was big, but it just was constantly moving. So that worked out.
Okay.
And, so our plan was, we are absolutely not trying to watch the fireworks because who cares?
I do. I would watch them. So would Trevor.
Yeah. Okay. That fair opinion, but continue.
Well, we saw them in December, so we're fine. Like, I get it. Yeah. So we were like, our plan is to crush some rides. We did stop and get the backside of water, like ice cream, not Dole Whip, but ice cream thing. I didn't want it, but I felt like if there's ever a time to have a cool picture with a weird ice cream, it was in our costumes.
Dressed like skippers. Yeah. You got to do it, right? Yeah.
It wasn't quite the sugar bomb I thought it would be, but it was not amazing. So I was glad when we could throw it away. So
I read some reviews that wasn't the best treat, but
it was not as bad as I thought, but it was not great. So, but we got on a lot of rides before the party started, and even, before the fireworks. We did Big Thunder Mountain first. We did Pirates, Haunted Mansion. We went on Small World also. And at some point we had decided, because so many cast members liked our costumes, that we were going to pretend to be on the wrong boat or like try to say we're looking for our boat. My husband just started this like, I don't know, I'm trying to find it. Can you tell us where to go? Because of the interactions we were having. So then we kind of just had this running joke of the night, and that was pretty fun. By the time we got out of Haunted Mansion, I think the fireworks were started. But we grabbed some buffalo chicken tachos. Not sure that was a great choice, but we realized we hadn't eaten all day.
That sounds amazing. What are you talking about? Go ahead, Trevor.
Yeah, buffalo chicken. Yeah. I see what you're saying, Becky. It sounds great, but then, your stomach is fighting you an hour later.
Gurgling
right?
for the rest of the night? Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, like, we had gotten up so early, and then the first thing we ate was when we went to Big River Grill, and then just had a bunch of beers. So I was like, we should eat something. So logically, tachos. So
listen, tachos are delicious. So I can't blame you for picking tachos.
They really were actually. Yeah, they were actually delicious. So, but yeah, we did. We rode the teacups, which again, I just looked at. I'm like, why is this our next choice? We are gonna.
Yeah. You should have waited to do the teacups for a while, or like, I feel like that's the whole, don't go swimming after you ate for like 20 minutes. I feel like you shouldn't go on the teacups after you eat tachos for at least a half hour.
Yeah, you should have been on Small World.
Right. It was, choices were made a lot this trip. So that happened. But
here's the question, Becky. If there were no consequences, right? No consequences. Would you have tried to sneak onto the Jungle Cruise as an actual skipper and tried to if there were no consequences? Because of course, if you actually pulled that off, you'd probably get banned forever. But
this was the first time that I went with a new spiel, so I didn't know where jokes were going to fall.
Oh,
so
yeah,
that might have been.
Yeah.
I went, I've done this costume a couple times before, and actually one of the times the skipper, she's like, I can't give you my microphone, but you can lean in and help me with the jokes. And that was really cool, but I was like, oh my God, but I'm not good at it. But
it's a hard skill. It's a hard skill. Yeah.
It was just, on the spot. So I got a couple things in, but I was like, I'm probably ruining this. You can go right ahead and, do your job. So, so I don't know if I would have just, I will say this. We did do Jungle Cruise as our last ride of the night. And when we're walking down those stairs, there was about 6 skippers standing there chatting. And we walk up and they all kind of gave us a weird look. And then one of them grabs, like she had a shoulder mic, and she grabs it and like starts talking. So I grab mine. I'm like, okay, what are we saying? And she goes, oh my gosh, it's a skip off. Let's go.
That's the thing?
Yeah, I don't know. I was ready for it. She's like, okay, questions. And she started asking me some, and then she's asking Josh, and he's like, I don't know. What's the right answer? Oh gosh. Trying to draw it out. We had such a fun time. And then
You're just making me imagine that there's like a thing that happens backstage where the skippers do like have a rap battle, but it's like with corny jokes.
Just puns, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They have a corny joke battle backstage, a skip off. I like it.
Yeah, it was hilarious. And when we got in the line, there's only like maybe 2 parties in front of us. And the skipper doing the loading came around and she tried to wave me on, but there wasn't a gate there. There was nowhere for me to go. And then she goes, oh, sorry. I don't know what I was just saying. I'm sorry. I think she thought I was there to work or something. And like I should have come up to the front. And then after the ride, they always say, if you liked this boat trip, my name is Susan. And if you didn't, well, there's another skipper sitting in the back. So that's who gave you your trip.
Oh, that's nice.
So that was fun.
They worked it in. I like it.
And afterwards, a couple of those skippers from the front came up to us to say how much they liked our costumes. And she's like, I'll be totally honest with you. We were all really confused, like why you were coming to work from those steps. And then we realized we don't know you. So it was pretty great.
So Boo Bash, worth it or not worth it?
Yes, totally worth it for how we did it, because our plan was get candy, have all the quote free snacks, which are not free, but we got them all. We wrote every single thing and a couple things twice. And
wow. So everything was walk on?
Everything was walk on except for
Seven Dwarfs.
Yeah. Which I hate that ride. And my husband was like, let's just go on it. And I just was staring at him like, if you would like to. We made it 4 steps into that queue and he goes, this was a bad idea.
Wait, why do you hate that ride, Becky? I need to know this now. Why do you hate it?
It's too short, and they did such a phenomenal job with the theming and all the work they put into it, but it's just, there's not enough. It's dumb. Like, it's a fun, cute little ride, but, ugh.
Yeah, literally, we were just talking about that like 2 episodes ago, but
yeah,
it is a really fun ride.
My favorite part of it is rocking the mine car, like get it going as much as you can, because so many people have no idea they independently swing. So sorry to the gentleman sitting in front of us. We were rocking it back and forth the entire time, and he was a little confused till the very end. I think he realized we were the ones doing it because no other cars were moving. And then he started laughing. So, but nice. Sorry. Yep. So I think it was totally worth it if you treat it like a park day, because we didn't go back to Magic Kingdom at all. Because we didn't need to.
So that was just your Magic Kingdom day, was just Boo Bash?
Yep. But we did every single thing. Like, I didn't go on Carousel of Progress because we didn't prioritize before the party. So I was a little bummed on that. And we didn't do Tiki Room. But like, we did everything.
That's great.
So yeah, totally worth it for the price we paid. And we had so much fun, like, interacting with people. So that's probably my favorite day. Yeah.
You also had said something about you were wearing your Haunted River Country shirt and somebody had seen you.
Yeah. So I wore that as like my walking to and from the pool shirt so that I'd have the most visibility without getting it gross at the parks. And one lady came up and she goes, is this your podcast? And I was like, what? And she goes, on your shirt. And I just said, it's not mine, but I do really like it and you should listen to it. And she's like, oh. She's like, well, I like the shirt. I said, thank you. So she didn't necessarily know what it was before, but hopefully she'll listen.
All right, that's great. We'll take it. I think we'll take that. Yeah.
I guess not having context and still enjoying the shirt is a good sign.
Yeah. exactly. Right. Yeah, that's a good point, Trevor. Not having any context from the context from the show, but just thinking it's a cool shirt. I mean, that's good. I like that. So that's great. I and see, that's why Becky's on the show, because Becky didn't pretend to be part of the show like some other people
Right.
that listen to the show. So
I'm not sure I could pull that off.
well, yeah, considering it's a 3-guy show, it's hard for you to, but I mean, you could still say I've been on it before. You know, I've been a host on it before. I mean, you can brag about that.
This seems like an odd flex to a stranger.
I mean, you know, why not? So, what else from your trip do you want to tell us about? Like, anything specific? Like, because I know you were looking for adult stuff to do, because it was your first adult only trip in a very long time. So I wasn't sure if there was anything specific that you wanted to highlight.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely we did go to some of the places that people had kind of recommended for me, which was awesome. We tried almost every food and wine booth because it was pouring when we went to Epcot, so everybody was gone. We were just embraced the suck. We were like, we can't get more wet from the rain, so it doesn't matter. So we're just going to go. And there's nobody there. So we just walked right up. I mean, we crushed that park in like an hour. It was great.
Yeah.
But we did do Baseline Tap House in Hollywood Studios and got the beer flight and tried that. That was fun. We did go to Topolino's for dinner.
How was Topolino's?
It was amazing, and I was not wanting to like it. I don't usually like to like the things everybody raves about. So
you just like you don't like the popular thing?
No, I will tell you, I was ready to like back off on my love for Jungle Cruise because I knew there was going to be a movie. I was like, but soon I'm going to have to be annoyed because everyone's going to like it. So, no, the food was fantastic. And, we had drinks first because our table wasn't ready. So we got to see the Epcot fireworks, through the windows and stuff. So it was a pretty cool night. And,
great.
Yeah, it was amazing. We had the tomahawk veal chop and, my husband had the bouillabaisse. So he said he wishes he would have gotten my food, but he did really like his. So, and we had the ricotta appetizer everybody talks about, and it is exactly as amazing as everyone says. So,
oh wow, nice.
It was. I was like, I wish I would have just had this until my meal came out. I'm like, oh, never mind. So, and the servers were like, I don't know. I know that they're on stage, right? So they have a part to play. But my husband likes to kind of break that down for people and like just let them know like we're pretty laid back. And we're like, if there's any table you need to like take a breather and not be pretentious at, it's this one. So that was fun. And he, we kind of convinced him to give us his best and worst experiences ever. And then his like co-server came over and was like, oh man. And then, so they're just telling us all these hilarious stories because it's the very end of the night. But prior to that, the other server had been very like, he needed a monocle to be delivering. He was like,
really?
Oh
Very
yeah.
Fancy.
Like a fake accent. We were like, what is this dude doing? And then when he came over and started telling us his stories, we were like, okay, here's the real guy. And I get why that's their job, but it was so fun to like have a normal conversation with somebody and let them let loose a little bit without breaking their whole, character that they have to be. So that was fun.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. The only other thing I have is some pro tips that we had.
Okay. I like a good pro tip.
Yeah. So because we had the split stays, there's pool lockers at the beach club, which we didn't necessarily know about. We've never stayed there before. So we stashed a bag with like our swim gear in those lockers because your amenities go until midnight the day you check out. So we kind of had 2 pools available a couple different days. So in case we wanted to come back from the park and go swimming again, we could just grab our bag from there and go swimming again if we didn't want to go to the boardwalk pool. And then on our checkout day, they told us there were lockers and we had no idea where they were. But then we found them. They were in the workout room. I think it's called Muscles and Bustles or something. But they also have showers because it's a gym. So we're like, this is perfect. We've already checked out of our room. We are here the whole day. So we swam and showered and changed and stuff. And then we took our last bag to Bell Services. So it was like, oh, this is perfect. And there's nobody else in here. So great.
Nice. Well, it sounds like you had a great trip.
It was amazing. My parents are great for watching the kids, and they were all
to get away from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
So yeah, I appreciate you guys letting me kind of tell all of our random stories. That was
Yeah.
We ended at Trader Sam's, and it was fantastic. So yeah.
I love Trader Sam's. Such a great place to be. And I think I told the story here before where we were sitting at the benches that they had. They were sitting at like the bar stools at like a big table, and we were sitting with another group. And this one of the people in the other group, their bench just their seat just started slowly going down. Like just started like slowly going down.
Yeah.
And I said something to the waiter. I was like, I know this place is like weird and stuff. I was like, but is that supposed to be happening? And they were like, yeah, that's totally a stupid thing that we do.
Yeah.
And I was like, really? And it was funny. I mean, we were laughing about it because the person was just slowly sinking.
Yeah.
So, I just love that place because it's so quirky and fun. And, you know, are they still doing all the fun stuff that they do there, or?
It's absolutely all the way back. It was
great.
In terms of that stuff. Yeah, it was my husband's first time being there, and our skipper was definitely enjoying messing with him and anybody else, because we also sat at that really large like cigar table type thing. Yeah. And she was sad because he had stepped out to use the restroom right when she had set his stool to go down. So she's like, where is he? And she pointed at his stool. We're like, oh no. So when he came back, he came to sit, and he sat really hard and was like, what?
What happened?
And she said it stays down for 7 minutes. So eventually he's like, oh, well, this is a fun ride, and coming right back up. So
such random stuff in that place. If you haven't been to Trader Sam's before, you need to make a priority to get there. I'm surprised you got in, because I know it's been kind of challenging. It's such a small place. I know they were doing a virtual queue for a while, so.
We were very surprised. They quoted us like an hour and a half to 2 hours. So we walked over to Shades of Green because that's where we had our honeymoon. So we just, for old time's sake, I guess, walked over and looked. And then we're like, it's going to rain again. We better get back. And we grabbed some stuff at the Tambu Lounge upstairs. And then our table was ready early. But then it was a Friday night. And by like 8 o'clock, it was like dead in there. And I'm like, where are we right now? Why is this not, crazy? And then I saw yesterday there's like a 4-hour wait. I'm like, that makes more sense.
Yeah, that sounds about par for the course. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks so much for Becky for going through all this stuff. You're gonna hang around, I think, for a little bit and answer some questions and go through some stuff with us. So
thanks for letting me ramble off a bunch of stuff. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So what I'm going to say here, we had a bunch of questions, but I wrote this before we decided Becky was coming on. So we're going to only do a couple of these questions. So, Trevor, do you want to pick one that you want to answer?
Yeah. So I was looking at this, and, all right, why don't we start with, one of Dan's questions? And actually, so Dan's got a couple of questions in here, but since we're keeping it short, we're only going to do one of his. Yep. And I think we're going to go with, what is something your family likes to do at Disney, but you would rather pass on? Mine is teacups. Or that's what he says.
I love the teacups.
Yeah. And my wife always passes on the teacups too. Sure. For myself, I tend to want to skip on shows, honestly. Okay. Like anytime like Fill Our Magic or anything like that, if the family's really pushing to go in there, I would rather not. It's not my most favorite thing. So that would probably be the thing that I would pass on. Okay. Yeah.
I think I would probably say like Tower of Terror or something like that, because I don't go on Tower of Terror. So that's probably one. But
right.
Becky, Damon, do you guys have one?
Mission Space.
Ooh, Mission Space. That's a good one. Because not everybody loves that ride. So go ahead, Becky.
Oh, sorry. Seven Dwarfs. My kids.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, you already said yours earlier, right?
I think my older kids agree. They all like the ride, but they're happy to be like, oh, let's just go on Big Thunder Mountain 3 times instead of waiting in that line. So at least they're smart.
Yeah, see, I'm up for that. I'm up for going on Big Thunder 3 times.
Yeah, I like that logic.
Exactly. Okay, let's see. I like this question from Kevin on Discord. You have to spend an entire day in one country in the Epcot showcase, World Showcase. You can experience the attraction associated with the country as many times as you want. Food is free, but once you eat at a certain dining location, it's off limits for all other meals or snacks. What country do you choose, and where do you eat? It's a good question. I like this one.
Italy, and it doesn't even matter. There's enough places to eat, so I don't even care what order I do them in.
I kind of agree with you there, Damon. Although now I'm thinking France, just because we have the Ratatouille ride. There's something new there. There's the Crepe Place, and
yeah, but the shows are better in Italy.
Yeah, I agree. But France has, used to have. They don't anymore. It used to have that acrobat thing where the guy with the stacking chairs.
That's in Italy, though.
I thought that was in France.
It's in both.
No, it's it's in the plaza as well in Italy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think they have it anymore, though, right? I think that was a COVID casualty, I think. But
for now, yeah.
Yeah, hopefully that comes back, because that was a really cool show. Yeah, I don't know. I think I might go France, which I typically wouldn't, but just because it just is expanded and it's new and it's not a place I've really seen a lot of the new stuff. So it's all new stuff I can take in. What about you, Trevor or Becky? Either one.
Becky, go first. You're the guest. Go ahead, Becky.
Okay, thanks. I actually was torn when I saw this in the Discord between France and Italy for exactly those reasons. There's so many choices, because once he gave that caveat of you can only eat each place once. I was like, well, there's a lot of places in France. So, and Italy was the same. So I would choose either of those. Same.
Nice.
Just to be different, I think I would go with Japan.
Japan's a good option though, because Japan is huge. Just the gift shop in Japan, you could spend hours in there. So I'm kind of, that's not a bad option, man. I'm not against that option.
Yeah, and I really I enjoy the the bonsai tree garden, and the taiko drummers are fun. I think that's a really good show. And I can eat Japanese food all day. So
see, Japanese food, not my favorite. Go ahead, Becky.
No, I was going to say, shoot, is that where that new fine dining place is, too?
Yes.
That was only open for 30 seconds. Darn it. You're the smartest, Trevor. You win.
Well, I mean, right? So
I didn't want to say that, but yeah, they've got that new place, and it'd be very expensive otherwise. So
that place is a little too fine dining for me, right?
Yeah.
I have a limit of how fine dining I want to go. I've thought about doing Victoria and Albert's before, and I'm just too much for me. I'm not classy enough for that place.
It's a little extra.
Yeah. I'm just not, I couldn't do it. And I feel that same way about the place in Japan, which the name is escaping me at the moment, but I don't even know if it's open right now. But
I can't remember the name either. I keep thinking of the gift shop, which is Mitsukoshi. I can't remember the name of the dining room.
Is it Japan or China that has the gift shop with the pearls, where they do the pearl thing?
That's in Japan.
That's what I thought.
Pearl.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I could watch that for just an hour by itself. I love watching that. It's just very fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good one. Damon or Becky, you want to pick a question of what's left here?
Sure. What do we got? Let me go back up top. I was looking through the rest of the show already. I don't know. All right. Is there a line in the sand? This is from Chris. Is there a line in the sand cost-wise for you and your families where you say no more, end up going less than you have in the past? Yeah, I mean, I think so. I hate to say it, but I think we're kind of there. I definitely have no reason to rush there based on the money anymore, right? I'll go, and I have more points. I mean, that just really means that I'm going to stay at bigger places. I don't, again, with DVC, I mean, I think I'll go just as much, but I don't necessarily know if I need to go to the park. There is nothing really park-wise that I want to go on Tron, but what is Tron really? Right? If I compare it to different rides, so what do we have coming up? I mean, Ratatouille is just not a huge high interest to me. I mean, it would be cool to go on, but not super high interest.
It's a remake of the Paris ride, so yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Tron is going to be a worse Hagrid's, to be honest with you. I mean, Hagrid's is gotten all awards and is like ridiculous, right? Like, and I feel like Tron is just going to be a lesser known IP of the same thing. So I think I'd rather go on Hagrid's. What else do we have coming up?
Guardians roller coaster. Yeah.
That thing
we already know your feelings about that.
Yeah. I mean, the Time Traveler is probably going to be better because it's just a little bit more thrilly, I feel like, in terms of just track design than Guardians is. And it's the same thing. So probably better. And I've already been on that. So yeah, I mean, I don't mind being priced out of the parks per se, because I don't necessarily need to go to the parks that many times a year, but I don't mind going to Disney, especially as the kids have gotten older. So I don't think I'm priced out. Again, how could I be priced out of DVC, right? I already have it. And yeah. I think am I priced out of the parks? I mean, yeah, I don't think I'd do a weekend in the parks like we had in the past because it was cheaper. I don't think I would, knock that out, last minute, like, hey, let's go to Disney for the weekend and go to the parks. I don't think I'd do that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what my line in the sand actually is, right? Because, like, I don't have a number in my head of where it's at, because anytime I go on vacation, I'm spending a lot of money, right? So I don't know where that line is. I'm sure there is one, but like you said, Damon, with having DVC, it's a little bit different, right? It almost kind of forces you to go, right? Because you have to use your points.
Well, so I think I'm going to end up, like I said, I'm desperately trying to get something over at Hilton Head. I mean, I know I'm not going to for Columbus weekend, but gosh, I'm going to check like 5 times a day just in case. I just can't decide which one I want to waitlist. I don't know how many 3-bedrooms there come out. If it's like, oh, we should waitlist a 3-bedroom. And I'm just like, I just don't see people that have 3-bedroom vacations canceling, right? Yeah. Like, I just don't see that. Like, I think a 2-bedroom, I think we still don't stand a chance, but I'll still go in for a waitlist on a 2-bedroom. Yeah, I think I could be very comfortable doing Disney without doing the parks as often. Especially as the kids get older. I think that's where you guys aren't, necessarily yourselves. And a lot of people aren't there yet. And it's funny because you can't understand what that's like until you're there, right? You can't make this assumption like, oh, well, my kids are older. Like, no, you can't, right? Because you just don't know what it's going to be like. And it's not that my kids wouldn't go, and it's not that we wouldn't enjoy going, but I start to think to myself like, yeah, we've been there an awful lot. Like, I could do other stuff. Yeah. I could do other stuff for a third of the price.
You're right. I mean, situations change and you have to really kind of evaluate it as you go. And that's kind of, for us, it's the same thing is that, we go once a year, and right now it's our planned family vacation. Although the next couple of years it's kind of, we're in a weird spot because we had to push out the last 2 years effectively. So we have enough points and we have, budget from vacation money that it's really a non-issue. Like, the price increases aren't affecting us immediately.
Yeah, but I could see that.
But in a year or two, we'll be thinking about it. And I think that the thing is it's not about not doing Disney. I think it's dialing back a lot of the things that I would do, because, if it is more pricey, I am really going to look at, do we need to do, extra parties that we've done in the past or do extra things? Or is it, like you said, it kind of does pull back to eventually maybe we are just going and staying there for a week, maybe not going into the parks and just treating it as a, just going and enjoying the resorts and other things around the area, not necessarily the parks. So
I don't necessarily know if it's just a cost thing, right? What's that line in the sand? I think, for a lot of people, that line in the sand comes along with kids' age, family age, and how many times you've been. I mean, I understand some people could go to the park every day and still enjoy it. Now, I'm on this whole thing about, the magic of Disney. The less I go, the better I like going for me. So I think going once a year is great. But, for us, Trevor, like, there was times where we were going 3 times a year. And I don't think I could do that anymore. I still want to do so much more at Universal and other parks. Like, it's a running joke in this house because the kids were, my older boys were mad when we went to Silver Dollar City just because it took forever to get there. And that drive is so boring. And, I think that was still probably one of my best vacations ever. Like, I like that trip better than I liked any Disney trip, without a doubt, not even a question. And some of that was the newness, right? It's like a new relationship, right?
Yeah.
You're dating somebody and, they may be terrible in a year, but gosh, those first couple of weeks are still great, right? Like, there's that newness that kind of comes along with going to different things. And that was definitely, the Silver Dollar City. And I think to myself, was that park that good, or was it just great because it was that new and we got to do different things? I don't know. But, I'm clamoring to go back there. And that trip might have cost me $1,500 for the week. Now I think about that and I go, $1,500 for the whole week with eating and a riverboat cruise and all of that. Yeah, I can get for a week at Disney, 2 adult tickets.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And that's with nowhere to stay. So I go, am I priced out per se? No, but like, would I like to do other things? Yeah.
And it's totally fair. Like the great thing about DVC is that you can make those choices, right? You can, even if you decide not to go to Disney, you can, bank your points or rent them or whatever. So
I wish there was one more place. I wish there was like a cold Disney place, like a ski lodge. I wish there was. I really do. The more I think about that, I go Vero Beach and Hilton Head. I'm sure they're distinctly different. But to me, it's a beach, right? So that's the beach vacation regardless. I just wish there was a mountain one. Like I could definitely get on board with that.
Well, and even for
use RCI for that. Sorry, Trevor. Go ahead.
I was going to say even for us, California is kind of like, I know it's still parks, but they are different from the Disney World parks. And, we haven't been back there in a couple of years. And it's actually something that my wife and I have been talking about because, it is good to change it up and kind of what you're talking about is when you haven't been there for a while, and especially knowing all the stuff that has happened in California, like, they've opened up a lot of new things. They redid, Paradise Pier to Pixar Pier, like all that kind of stuff. It will be very much a new experience.
And that was going to be our plan for this year. Pre-COVID, that was going to be the vacation of this past summer. So yeah, I mean, I could see doing that as well.
Yeah.
But again, right, I think cost-wise, man, there's a lot in the US and Canada to go see. And again, I don't think it negates a yearly trip for me, but it definitely takes off 2 to 3 trips a year, which is, what we were probably doing before. And that's just a cost thing. I can spend my money better other places.
Maybe you should come up to Alberta and, visit.
I've been to Canada once.
Visit Drumheller and Kananaskis and all that stuff.
Yeah, I was in Quebec, I think, once. And I mean, it was really nice. We went with a friend that lived there, which made it totally different, right? Because I don't speak French. Right. So that was super helpful. I remember one of the stories was where we go there and he was parking the car and we were coming up to a cafe, right? A crepe sort of cafe in Quebec. And, we asked for a table and the lady's like 50 minutes. And then he comes up French, hey, table, he's like, I live around the corner, blah, 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 blah. They knew, 2 seconds. We're sitting down in the best table in the house. And it's not even a question. So, there's a lot of that if you don't speak French. So I guess I would come to Canada if I had some sort of translator, maybe.
Just for context, that's Quebec. We don't speak French out here in Western Canada.
Yeah, that's too far for me, though, man. Like, I got to stick to my coast at least if I'm going to Canada. I've never been to Niagara Falls either. Like, that's something that I wouldn't mind doing either. Like, there's a lot to do. Like, I love Disney and it's great and all that, but there's a lot to do for a lot cheaper.
And again, back to the original point is, sometimes taking a break from it's not a matter of being done with Disney, but taking a break is not a bad thing.
I'm just a little bent out of shape that, I booked this November trip and now I'm sitting on tickets that I really can't do anything with if I don't go in November. Like, I can try to get them pushed out if I do another vacation at another point, but I can't get a refund for my tickets.
Mm-hmm.
And that just burns me, man. Like, at $3,000, that burns me.
They should still be good, though. I think they're good
the tickets are good and I can move them. But if I don't want to go to Disney for another year, then I'm eating that $3,000.
No, I think they'll last longer than that, I thought.
They don't.
No, they have a year expiry on them.
Yes, they do.
Well, because I have some tickets from a trip we canceled in 2020 that are still valid in my profile. Now, I don't know if they just extended those further, but
maybe because of COVID. But there is a date. So if I don't decide to go, like, I'm going to end up eating those, and that just puts a bad taste in my mouth. Like, I get it, but it's still annoying, right? And because that's the most
Yeah.
expensive part of the trip. Again, I consider DVC points free at this point for me, right? Like they don't cost me anything. If I have to eat points, who cares?
Yeah.
I guess maybe what I should do is I should rent out my points to recoup back my $3,000.
You
There
could
we
do that.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That wouldn't make me feel so bad about it. I mean, I know our friends, like they ate, plane fare. They ate tickets already. They ate, points. Like, gosh, they ate 140 points. I think that beats everybody.
Yeah, we're kind of in the same boat about our February trip. Is if it doesn't happen, I'm eating. Yeah, same thing. Tickets have been pushed, airfare, all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, it's tough, man. And that's not Disney's fault. I get it, but it's just one of those things. So
We really should do our ad because
Yeah.
we're pretty far in here. So we should do that.
Well, so before we do that, I guess Becky, did you want to chime in on this question or?
It's funny because everybody's making really the same points I had come up with. We were more into experiences with our kids than just hitting the parks. So we're starting to kind of shift a little bit of like, if we have one amazing day where we do something we wouldn't usually do, maybe we just chill and use resort days the rest of the time. Or, I still have enough kids that are young enough that like going to any pool is all they want to do. So like their favorite part of the vacation might be remembering one ride
Is in the pool.
They want to spend the time in the pool. And honestly, my oldest, he's almost 16, but he's a certified scuba diver, and he just wants to be under the water. He doesn't even care if it's in a crappy pool. He's like, "Oh, can we just swim for like 3 hours?" Like, great. But he's also my biggest Disney nut. So I agree. I don't think being DVC owners that we're priced out, we've already paid for our contract, and I rent out every other, year to cover the fees. So it's like that part doesn't matter. My tickets, I try to get a military discount, and so it's a little less. So it's like really, I don't think there's going to be a point where we would do anything besides change what we're doing and not go as often. So I kind of agree with everyone. But thank you.
All right then.
No, that's good. We appreciate, you're right. I think we are all saying the same thing, but it's good to kind of, just get everybody's point of view on it, right? So, yeah. I guess it is time for the ad. So let me just find it here. All right. This week we have DVC Resale Market. DVC Resale Market, a World of DVC company, is the leader in the DVC resale industry with 13 former Disney Vacation Club guides and 3 former Disney Vacation Club quality assurance managers. If you're thinking of buying DVC, browse the largest selection of DVC resale listings anywhere with DVC experts on hand 7 days a week to answer your questions. If you're thinking of selling, turn to the friendly professionals at DVC Resale Market, where over 98% of listings sell within 30 days. In 2020, DVC Resale Market helped over 3,600 families join or add on to their memberships. Go to dvcresalemarket.com or call 1-844-DVC-PROS, that's 382-7767, and when you speak to them, be sure to let them know Welcome Home sent you.
yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yay.
So
I have tons of stuff. So we're just going to have to hold on for a second here. So
what do you mean you have tons of stuff? I don't know what you mean.
Tons of things. We just got housekeeping, right?
Okay.
So let's talk about our special coded message. So somebody came really close, and then I don't know what happened. I forget who it was. Well, and then she just kind of disappeared. And you have to solve them all. So look, if you solve them all, they're all in the same cipher except the first one. You will automatically get one of the holiday gifts, which we've already decided what they are. We have an artist taking care of them. We'll leave it at that in terms of what they are. They're super cool, right? I think we're giving away 10. You will automatically get one. No questions asked, but you'd have to solve them all. So I'm going to do another one this week. But again, the first person to send a message with all of them solved, all the same cipher, mind you, they will automatically get one. And I think that we'll be giving away the rest of them at our Halloween episode-ish, I think. I think that's what we kind of decided.
Sure. Yep.
So keep that in mind. Again, it's going to be an exclusive, one-of-a-kind, one-time only, artistic type, super cool thing that we got going on. Not a shirt, though.
David, I have to mention that Becky sent me she sent us. I say me because I'm the only one that checks the email. And Becky, just so you and everyone else know, Damon is doing these on his own, so I have no idea what the secret message is. So
then that's not helpful for me to do it that way. I sent it. I'm like, I think I know this, and then like 10 minutes goes by. I'm like, no, that makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah,
but I didn't hear back, so I never knew.
So anyway, kind of keep that in mind. The other thing is, we need more people in the group asking questions and starting conversation. I'm at that point again. I'm tired, right? You hear how busy we're going to be. You know, I tend to be on the group the most, just because time allows, but, need a little help there, right? Need a little help on the group. And we have a lot of people now, and I'm surprised. I figured like the more people we had, the easier it would be for me to kind of step back, and that's not the case. I know my questions and my comments are the best. I get it, right? But
Damon, we come there for what you're going to say, though.
Yeah.
I want to know your thoughts because they don't always hear a lot here. So I think a lot of people wait for you to. And this is just my thoughts, but.
And then the last thing is, so last week, cookies. I got involved in cookies. I went downstairs to get a drink of water. And there was some peanut butter cookie discussion going on. And then I just was like all involved in making cookies, and that was it. I never came back. I was
back
like,
to cookies now? You're back to cookies again?
Peanut butter cookies. So I'm done with chocolate chips. I made these peanut butter cookies. I think they were they were in like the Jif website, and they were just not good. There was too much peanut butter oil in them, and it made the cookies oily. I can't even explain it. I mean, they were okay, but they were just not great. But I got involved in baking them, and I was like, oh man, I forgot I was doing the podcast. Putting cookies in the oven. I was like, wait a second, I'm missing something. No, it's not sugar. It's not flour. Oh yeah, it's the podcast. And that was it. But that all being said, we also are coming up against my pumpkin time. I did, make it a point to say I'd be here an hour every week, and we're getting close.
I gotcha. Okay. When you said pumpkin time, I thought you meant like pumpkin carving. You mean turning back into a pumpkin?
Yeah. Pumpkin carving, I'm kind of done with too. I mean, we'll do it again this year, but I don't have the tool set that I need for pumpkin carving. I use a Dremel, and then you watch the pumpkin carving shows, and I just feel so inferior in my pumpkin carving skills. So I don't know what we're going to do this year.
Carving is a skill I do not possess. I've tried it before. I'm not good at it. So
yeah. Oh, maybe though, you know what? Here, if someone remembers though, the best carved pumpkin that you can show on the Halloween podcast, there's another winner as well.
Oh,
I need to make sure I don't give away. Yeah, I don't give away like 10 things, like more than 10, right? So, but that's another one. If you remember, you can submit a pumpkin on the live show for an automatic bid here at the win.
What about if somebody carves our logo into a pumpkin? That's like if
not hard.
I don't know if that will necessarily win. I mean, they could submit that.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm just saying,
Tom gets a vote. I mean, yeah. Trevor gets 2 votes and I get 2 votes. So, I mean, however you think that's going to work out, I mean, that's fine. But
wait, how does that work?
Hey, man, sometimes math is just math. There's nothing you can do about it. Yeah.
Well, can Becky have my other vote? Can at least someone else have it?
Yeah, I don't know if anyone else can have a vote. We'll have to see. We'll have to see as we get closer. But I think that would be a good one. And, we're going to do the dress up Halloween, I think, again as well. So, I think that's kind of a tradition now for us, I feel like.
Yeah. People want us to do more live stuff. So, I mean, we're definitely going to do
this. Live stuff is a pain, though.
It is
It's a pain.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Especially if you make a mistake. Like, I mean, if you make a mistake on a live show, you're kind of beat.
Well, yeah, that's, we try, listen, when we record this show, we mostly release it as is, but there are times that mistakes happen and do get removed. So, but for the most part,
I think I had the last big mistake.
I'm trying to, maybe.
Yeah.
No, there was a thing last week or 2 weeks ago that was a little challenging. So,
oh yeah, I had
we had technical issues
last week. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Trevor couldn't hear me for like a good couple minutes of the podcast.
My headset cut out. So.
Yeah, but that stuff nobody ever hears about because I try to hide it. So. Luckily, we haven't like cursed or anything on a live show. That's been good. I mean, not that we've done it on here. It's happened like once or twice on here, but
Yeah, that's true. But a live show, right? all
And I
bets are
almost
off.
cursed a couple weeks ago. I think I edited that out, so I don't think anybody heard it, but I was like halfway through a curse word. Oh, man.
I just treat this like I'm talking to my children because I won't curse in front of them. But on any other time I record anything, I just don't care.
Well, glad you care on here because we try not to.
Absolutely.
You know what would be really cool, though? I wish we could do is I think, if we had enough Patreon people, I'd love to get like a glass artist to do our logo. Could you imagine that?
That'd be cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would
I'm
be
sure
impressive.
that's super expensive, though.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably.
We're not that big time yet. We're still at 4.5. Like we can't even like make it over to 4.6.
Yeah, I did like your thread about who the next guest should be.
Paging Mr. Morrow didn't answer me back, so I think we're out
that's
there.
too bad.
That's too bad. We are going to get the guy from the Imagineering podcast on. I've been talking with him for a few months. We just got to figure out schedules. Schedules are tough, so it's we're going to make that happen. But because that one did come up, so that one is going to happen for sure. So we just got to figure it out. And Ziggy is going to come back too. I talked to Ziggy recently too. But Ziggy was traveling, so we'll get back to Ziggy though too. We haven't talked to Ziggy in like well over a year. I feel like, right? I mean.
I thought we had him on earlier this year because he was out of the country. Was that last year? Maybe that was last year. I
don't know. The past year, 2 years have all run into each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. Any other housekeeping items, Damon, that you have, or was that all your?
No, I think that's it. I think we're good for now.
Okay.
All right.
Cool. All right. So, some other things. I know we're going to lose Becky in a few minutes here. Becky, is there anything on our list that you were just dying to talk about here before we have to lose you?
I think that I've maybe shared my comments with you about the Fab 50 quite a bit. So
yeah, we had quite a discussion on the Discord.
Gosh.
So
yeah, I don't think any of it. The Vault collection was kind of crazy. That was the only thing that seemed a little bit different, I guess. But I'm good with whatever you guys need to do next. So.
I have to tell you, so at first when I looked at the Vault collection piece, it was a question and answer kind of thing. But if you look within the answers from the person that they're interviewing here, there's some really interesting tidbits of things that they're going to be bringing to the parks here, like some of this, vintage merchandise, like milk glass mugs. They mentioned in here, retro plastic mini headband. There's going to be. There's like a Country Bear like classic collectible lunchbox. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. Like, I need a Country Bear classic lunchbox. I won't even use it. It'll just go on the shelf. Like I just love that they're doing this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean the retro stuff is definitely cool, and I think people have been asking for it for a while. But my only concern with it is that. People think about retro stuff and they don't necessarily realize that it wasn't that good back then. If you know,
but that's the thing. It's all nostalgia, right? Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
I mean, it's all nostalgia. It's that's what it's about, right?
It is, but I guess my concern with that is, you buy some stuff out of nostalgia and then you realize that I didn't want this in the first place. Like that mug. I remember like my grandparents had mugs like that, not like a Walt Disney World one, but like that style of mug. And I thought they were awful.
I remember when I was a kid, I had, even though I don't think I'd ever seen the movie, I had a Rocketeer lunchbox with like a thermos, like
you never saw the Rocketeer?
When I was a kid, when I was like a little kid, I think I probably did see it, but I just don't remember. Like but I don't know why I had the lunchbox. Like I don't think I was really into the Rocketeer enough to have a lunchbox from it.
Right.
But I just remember the lunchbox with the thermos and everything.
Yeah, I guess that's also one of those things too that you get stuff as when you're a kid that your parents will buy you something, but it's not that it necessarily means anything. It was probably more that they were just desperate to get a lunchbox, and it was like, here you go. Yeah. So any other things on here, Becky, you want to talk about before we have to lose you?
I don't have any hard opinions on anything too big, but one thing I actually forgot to talk about is from our trip, if I could have like 30 more seconds.
Yeah, no, please tell us.
So we did go to Animal Kingdom and we walked right on everything, including Flight of Passage, because I won't wait for that ride either. Technologically cool ride. I just don't care. And that was one of my main things I can relate to Damon on. It's like, I just don't care. And so we went on it, and the pre-show kills it for me every time. And in December,
the one guy, the way he acts, like
the awkward scientist guy.
I'd rather wait in the queue. Those two little, they're basically just more queue. I'd rather just stand there without watching any of those two extra little shows at all.
I like the pre-show outside of that guy's acting. Like the rest of the pre-show is fun. Like where they're, there's all sorts of cool things going on in there, I think. But,
That pre-show actually reminds me a lot of some of the Teams conversations that I have at work. Now that I think about it.
Yeah. Basically, we went on the ride. It was super distorted and blurry. Like the resolution was way off on the projection. And so we just told them afterwards, like, hey, just as feedback, it was really kind of blurry for us because we were sitting on the bottom. So I don't know if anybody needs to look at that. And the cast member was super nice. He's like, well, do you want to go again? I was like, no, it's okay. And my husband's...
do you want to see if it's blurry the next time?
My husband's looking at me like, we're going to walk through this queue again. So my guy's like, no, I'll just save you. We'll just put you right back in there and I'll make sure they don't put you in that room. I was like, that's not the point of this. I do understand you are now making magic for us. So I felt compelled to say yes, because otherwise I was being kind of a jerk. I'm like, okay, well, thank you so much. Great. So then we wrote it again. And then we left because I was done. But it was super nice of him. We didn't have to walk back through the outside part of the queue, but I had to watch that stupid show again.
I like the pre-show on that. Oh man. This is why you're Damon, Becky.
Great.
You take that as a compliment though. So
I don't do it to be contrary, but I like to be able to have my opinions not be everything being all magic and amazing all the time.
I get it.
Because it's not.
Oh, totally.
And that's why I like this show as well, because everybody has their own opinion. And they're allowed to have their own opinion.
No, you're not. You're not allowed to have an opinion on here.
Oh,
everybody having your own...
with us, Becky.
Oh,
yeah.
Gosh.
Everybody having their own
Well, I
opinion
guess
is
I'll
why
have
we're
to go.
4.5. Everyone having their own opinion is why we're 4.5 out of 5. So, okay. Well, thanks, Becky, for coming on. We really appreciate it. It was fun having you again. So,
thank you guys so much. Yeah, I'll be here for a few more minutes, and then I'll let you know when I leave. So, thank you.
Sounds good.
Cool. Sorry, not trying to kick you out.
I feel like you just did.
No. You told me you had an out, so
no, I do. Yeah.
I thought you had a hard out. So, okay, all right. All right, yes. So we'll go back to the DVC news of the week, which I want to try to pronounce this guy's last name, but I don't know if I really want to. So Bill, would you say Derrickson?
Yeah, it looks like Derrickson. Yeah.
Yeah, replacing Terry Schultz as head of DVC. I saw a lot of people posting in the groups about this, and I don't agree that just because this guy has come up from finance that all of a sudden he's going to be like, let's cut every expense. Like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, it's so odd to me that people are making that leap, you know? This guy's been with DVC for 20 some years. I mean, he's been with DVC for more than 8 years and been with Disney in general for more than 20 years. But like, I don't feel like because he's part of finance, it just means everything's going to go real cheap all of a sudden.
Yeah, I mean, I get finance means that he'll understand budget and he'll understand what's reasonable. But of course, that does translate to people want extras. And if you didn't have somebody there pulling back on the reins, it's a hard thing, right? If you really think about it, giving all the extras and all the perks, everyone wants that. But what they don't see is that there's a budget behind the scenes. And if you're giving all the extras and you're blowing your budget, then you're not going to have a job very long.
Yeah.
So, you do need somebody that is at least rational there, but not, I get the swing to the other side as well, where, somebody says, no, we have to we have to claw back and save as much as we can. And, that's fair too. My thing is in general, when these things get announced, I hate the knee-jerk reaction.
Oh yeah, me too.
I absolutely hate that, people go and, something gets announced and they go, oh, well, this is going to suck. And it's like,
DVD's over now. It's done. I'm out.
Well, that's fine. But, why don't you give, I would rather, have this conversation in a year, because really, if somebody's taking something over, it's a good year before you see actually any change based on their leadership.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to make any judgments or any decisions until they've actually had a chance to action some things.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And I hate the knee-jerk reaction too, Trevor. It drives me crazy. And I saw somebody say too, just because this guy's in finance, what's wrong with finance people that you just think they're immediately going to go get rid of all of the member experiences? You know what I mean? It's the guy's been within DVC, even though he's been within finance, he's still, there's still a customer service aspect to this, right? So,
yeah, I would be more concerned if it was somebody coming in who, was fairly new to Disney and didn't understand Disney's culture, because that's what you're really talking about, is that, there is a certain understanding of the culture of the company. And it is a balance. And I get this too. It's the same thing at my job is, there's a balance between, the promoting a certain attitude, but then also making sure that the company is successful. You can't just give everything away. So,
yeah.
Like I said, that's fine. Heads change all the time. Yeah. It's a just part of business and all that. And I guess to that point is, so, for anybody that's saying, this guy is not great, or, this isn't going to be a good decision for Disney. Well, who would you want to see in there then? If you understand their business so well, who do you think should be running the business?
Yeah. Trevor, that's exactly what I was going to say. I had no idea we had so many absolute experts into the deep dive of Disney's business aspects. How are you making an even cognizant choice here of anything just because you want to complain? What do I know about that? I know nothing. I don't care. I don't know Terry Schultz. I don't know Bill Dickerson. I don't know how to say his name. I'm sorry.
I'm thinking Derrickson.
Derek.
Sure.
Let's go Derek.
Yep. I don't know Mr. D. So, but it's why would people be so up in arms about this? Because nothing has happened yet, and they don't know any better, or they probably would work there. So, I'm with you.
Well, I just don't think we could jump to conclusions about this guy, right? Like you said, Trevor, it's better than them pulling over somebody from a different division of the company that knows nothing about DVC, knows nothing about what the members need, what members care about. This is a guy that's been with DVC for a long time and also has been with Disney for a long time. He understands DVC, obviously, right?
Yeah.
And he's also, he goes to he's at the annual condo meetings, so people have spoken to him. He does, member cruises this. It's not that this guy has never had member facing, interactions. He's not as much of a behind the scenes guy as he could be portrayed as, right? He's been out there and enjoyed and met member families before. So it's not, he's not just a behind the scenes guy. And, truth be told, finance guys, it's not always a bad thing there too, because he could also be really into analysis and, and realizing, hey, we need to give more of these things to keep our members happy, that's part of it too, right? Is understanding the Moonlight Magic events are really popular and they help us sell more contracts. So we need to do more of those, that's part of this too.
Well, and also not just saying, hey, you can give more, but, maybe being a little bit more creative about it, because, understanding where the limits are of the budget, that does sometimes give people leeway to say, hey, we can actually, swing this. And maybe it's a matter of, Moonlight Magic is, hey, maybe instead of offering a bunch more of them, maybe they can offer a better experience, or they can, fine tune it, that it becomes something better, right? So like, I know everyone enjoys Moonlight Magic the way that it is, but that doesn't mean that that's the only thing you have to do with it.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
all right.
Yeah.
I think that's enough, inside DVC talk, right?
Well,
I just saw so many posts of people freaking out about this when we really don't know what this means. Nobody knows what this means.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and I guess that's my thing is, when I see these headlines and I see all the, there's all the churn around it. Oh, this person's going to be bad for the company. This person's going to be bad for the company. It's like, okay, fine. But I guess my point to that is, what did everyone say when Terry Schultz came in? I'm sure that there was just as many comments when the previous guard was in supervising things. This is a changing of the guard. And to that point, so how long has DVC been running? And how many times has presidents and leadership changed? Like if it was really that, or I shouldn't say, it could be dangerous. Somebody in that position could potentially ruin the company. But, if you have something established as DVC, why would you give someone the reins who could potentially destroy the company?
Yeah, it doesn't make no sense, right? You're not going to put somebody in charge that's going to wreck everything and make all the members mad and leave, right?
Yeah, and that's it. Is that they have to be cognizant of, hey, you can't just dial everything back because then what are you selling?
Yeah, exactly.
So people don't think about that stuff.
I didn't hear anybody complaining about Terry going into her new role and bumping somebody else from there. It's only just one part that must be the worst choice ever, but they just have to complain.
I think what happens is Terry was with DVC from the very beginning, right? So so some people just trusted Terry because Terry had been there since day one, right? Whereas this guy is newish, right? But he's not. He's been with the company for 20 some years. The guy knows Disney. He'll be fine.
If you think about it, when did DVC really start? Back in early 90s?
91.
91.
Yeah.
So he came in 2000. So he came in 9 years after DVC started. Do you really think
total rookie?
Yeah. You think he's really that out of touch with things?
Yeah, I know. This is just funny.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. Just giving some perspective on that.
Yeah. I want to talk Creation Shop. Can we talk about Creation Shop?
Yes. Let's talk about this.
So if you're listening to this right now, the Creation Shop is opening 2 days from now. It's opening on September 15th. This has been announced. Club Cool as well. So you'll be able to get your Beverly again in a few days here. But along with the announcement, they also shared this exclusive line of merch that's going to be available just at the Creation Shop. That's themed to Spaceship Earth. I'm digging it. I like it.
I like it too. I like the it's as much as I like everything being I definitely like color, and I like a lot of sorry, let me reframe that. Around here, people tend to wear blue and black and that's it, and I find that boring as heck. But I tend to like stuff with a little more color to it, but this is very it's designed after the globe on Spaceship Earth. It's a lot of gray and white, but I think it looks really clean. Overall, the design is really, it looks good.
I feel like that hat is the kind of hat that Damon likes to wear. It's got the flat brim kind of hat.
Yeah.
I am wondering if it lights up or if it's just reflective and it's because of the picture. It almost looks like the little points of light in the middle light up, but I bought light up hats at Disney before, so it's possible it does light up, but they don't really say within the tweet. So
it's hard to tell if that's just the reflection off of the photo, how it's sitting or what. But
what is the thing behind the mug? That's what I've been trying to figure out. I see the mug that's themed to Spaceship Earth, but what is there the bigger version sitting behind it?
That's a good question. Let me see.
I also don't know what the thing in the back is. Is that a backpack or a bag?
It looks just that looks like a backpack. I saw some other pictures of this too. I saw, somebody with the backpack and the hat. Yeah, so that's a mug, and then
I don't know what.
that looks like an ornament.
Is it maybe a cookie jar?
There's no.
Although the top doesn't look like it comes off. It looks like one solid piece, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What a bizarre shape for.
It is. It's
But
a
I
very
think
bizarre shape.
I think the ear headband is in it, though. Maybe.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Or behind it. It's hard to tell.
Oh, gosh. It's a mystery. You'll get to find out on the 15th.
I do. Yeah, you're right. I do like that the classic Epcot logos are on there too, which is cool. Although the more I look at the hat, the more I feel like I should be in like a 90s music video wearing it. But
100%.
Right? It is. It's very like 90s music video.
Yeah.
But it still looks cool. I still like it. Don't get me wrong. I told you guys last time I went, I was looking for stuff with the new Epcot logos on it, and they didn't have anything. So the idea that they're coming out with more stuff is great.
That hat looks really hot, by the way. Like
when you say hot,
a little
you
bit
mean
of
hot on your head?
like temperature, sweaty.
Yeah. Like it doesn't breathe.
Yeah,
No.
exactly. That looks like a terrible plan.
It definitely looks like I should be wearing like parachute pants with it, or you know.
Yes.
I feel like that's something that I wouldn't wear it in Florida, but I would wear it here in Canada because it's cooler here, and I wouldn't sweat to death in it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it does. Although maybe it would reflect the sun off of it, right? Because it's so shiny.
Yeah.
It'll repel the snow right off the top, Trevor.
Yeah, I'm also trying to figure out what this little ball is. Is that like an ornament?
That's what I said. I think it's like a Christmas ornament.
Okay, I missed you saying that. Sorry. Yeah. I listen, either way, this is just a sneak preview. There's going to be more, right? There's a whole collection. It's not just 5 things. So I'm excited for this. It looks cool.
Yep.
I also am really digging the new sign, too. I really like this Epcot font that they have going on. You know, like that they're using for everything. I like it.
Oh, here, I was going to say sign. I missed that link. Okay.
Oh, it's under. It's under.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
on Zach Ridley's Instagram, which is where half of the content of the show comes from these days.
I also like that they went with that same font. I think that's what you associate it with. So I don't see why they didn't do it, before. So
yeah, it just looks cool. I'm excited to see pictures inside the shop, and also go in it too, of course. Because I'll hopefully be able to go sometime soon here, but.
Does anyone know what is the Japan thing? What is this?
What are you talking about?
In that Instagram, like the picture that's like pink and purple and
oh yeah, I don't know what that is either.
In there, like I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, Zach's got some interesting stuff on there. He's got like some weird sculpture that they call. I think it's called like the bubblegum sculpture or something. I don't know. It's weird.
Okay. Yeah, you guys, people should look at this and tell us what.
What it is? Yeah, I don't think it exists in the parks anywhere that I'm aware of. I don't think so. I could be wrong, but Zach also shared a look at, and he basically announced this. There's going to be 10 statues or sculptures throughout the creation shop of Mickey, and this kind of goes back to our mural discussion, right? Where they're doing these sculptures and they're having Imagineers design these. Taking inspiration from the park, right? So taking inspiration from Epcot, and so it's like, let me see, hold on, where he said something in here that just made me like think of like this is why the mural, like people complaining about the mural. I mean, where is it? Just talking about original art, like this is original art, like, and that's a lot of what is in Epcot is original art, and that's what the mural is, and that's what these cool statues are too. Sculptures, they're calling them sculptures. So
yes, statues are a form of sculpture, but yes,
yeah, sure, sculptures. I just want to use the right words here,
so sorry. Going back to the weird picture, so I did read a little bit more on that, and it's a mixed media art piece, and the actual sculpture is a Harajuku girl from Tokyo, or it's an area in Tokyo where they do a lot of like cosplay and stuff like this. So yeah, it's a bunch of pieces all put together, but the overall sculpture is Harajuku girl. So
yeah, the zoom in on it is so
it is.
They didn't do it very good.
It's showing like the
there.
waist, and that's so yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I think
as long as there's a shape that I should know.
Yeah, I think the point is that yeah, inside of it, it looks like a resin or something, and there's a bunch of like they're trying to show that if you look really close, there is a bunch of things
made up of a
it.
bunch of different.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
So
My day's complete.
Back to these new Mickey sculptures. They're called Mouse as Muse is what they're called. And so I'll read what Zach Ridley wrote really quickly here. Continuing this legacy of the original artwork at Epcot, our team behind the new creation shop commissioned a collection of 10 new sculptures titled Mouse as Muse to live in this space. Each sculpture, standing 26 inches tall, is a one-of-a-kind piece designed and crafted by an Imagineering artist, inspired by their personal interpretation of what creativity and Disney means to them in their work. Mickey Mouse is the blank canvas, but the subject and the final result were entirely up to each Imagineer. That is super cool to me. I love that idea. Yeah.
Could be really cool.
So we had a similar art thing happen here, like probably it was I think 15 or 20 years ago, where same thing is they had these sculptures all around the city. And you know, they had different artists, you know, take the sculpture and do their own like paintings and everything on them. In our case, though, it was cows.
So, Mickey's a little cooler.
Yeah, this is definitely a little bit cooler. But no, I definitely get, you know, what the end result of this will be. Yeah, you'll have a bunch of really different looking takes on Mickey Mouse that, yeah, it'll be exciting because you'll be able to, as you're going around Epcot, you'll be able to see just, you know, people's interpretation of it, right?
Yeah, and this first piece, this one that's being shown here, is an homage to the original Epcot visionaries, the designers, artists, Walt himself, and the heights they aspired to.
That's what I thought that was the Epcot model. Yeah,
it is. It's basically the original Epcot model is kind of like painted onto this sculpture on Mickey's midsection. It's very cool.
I like the blue. The
blue color. Yeah.
That blue is really nice.
Do you think they're all going to be that same color, or do you think they're going to be just different?
I think the artist chose that because that's the concept art from Epcot was that blue. I think you'll find a lot of different ones. Like I said, this is anything like the art installation that they did in our city years ago. They'll all look wildly different, is what I'm expecting.
Which is great.
Yeah.
No, I love that. And that's, you know, that's a lot of what he's talking about here is like Epcot has kind of a tradition of original art. And I agree with that. I mean, there's a lot of art within Epcot. And that's why I didn't understand the outrage to the mural thing, because it's like, it's art. It's an original art piece. Like, it doesn't have to be your exact ideal of what Mickey Mouse is. It's a artist interpretation of Mickey Mouse. Like, you can't, like, I don't understand why people don't get that, but you know, whatever.
you know, Walt himself was an artist, so yes. Anyone saying that it doesn't hold true to Walt's vision is lying.
Yeah, well, and I saw the first comment on the Instagram post was that's not Mickey, and I was like, well, no, it is. Like,
but you know it is, though. That's the thing. You say that's not Mickey, but you recognize that it's Mickey.
Well, and there's like, we beat this into the ground last week. So I'm not like, let's not get me outraged about the mural outrage again. I'm being outraged about the outrage. So, all right. Why don't we do our next ad here, and then we'll come through a couple of these last things and wrap this up. So, Monera Financial, we talked earlier about DVC resale market. You know, if you're looking to finance your purchase at DVC Resale Market, look no further than Monera Financial. Monera, a World of DVC company, is the industry leader for financing DVC contracts, DVC resale contracts, I should say. Monera offers lending with no credit checks, often very low down payments, terms as long as 10 years, and no prepayment penalties. If you're thinking of purchasing a DVC contract, go check out their quick online quote first. You might be surprised at just how affordable joining DVC can be. Go to monerafinancial.com or call 317-245-8800, and when you speak to them, be sure to let them know that Welcome Home sent you. All right, so we're finally done with the Fab 50 watch.
Yeah.
and you know, so I said there were 4 left. I was wrong. There was 1 left, and that was Tinkerbell. So, which is fine. Tinkerbell makes sense, right?
Yeah. Easy.
Yeah, easy one. And I do like, I don't know if you saw, but Tinkerbell's actually, they put her up in a tree, which is kind of cool. They put the sculpture in a tree. So,
Really?
yeah. So which I like. I think that's kind of neat that they did that.
I feel like they used it as an opportunity to highlight
Stuff they want to highlight.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. So, and obviously there would be no perfect Fab 50 list.
All right, I got the full list.
Okay.
All right, so
we don't need
I'll
to
read
list
through
them all, but yeah, let's just...
You don't want me to list them? Okay, well, I'll do it really quick. So, Magic Kingdom, we got Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Goofy, Daisy, Pluto, Chippendale, Lumiere, Cogsworth, Orange Bird, Mad Hatter, Cheshire Cat, Dumbo and Timothy, Stitch, Pooh, Piglet, Pinocchio, Gus, Lady and the Tramp, Abu, and Tinkerbell. So those are all in Magic Kingdom. Epcot, Figment, Dante, Miguel, Rocket Raccoon, Baby Groot, Pua and Hey Hey, and Olaf and Bruni. Hollywood Studios, Joe Gardner, Edna Mode, Woody and Bo Peep, Frozone, R2D2, BB-8, Sebastian and Flounder, which Sebastian and Flounder feel like it should be a Magic Kingdom to me, but neither here nor there. Because why would you even have that in Hollywood Studios?
Or Animal Kingdom, technically, if you wanted to.
Yeah, sure. I mean, but the ride is in Magic Kingdom, right? So
yeah, I think. But isn't there a Little Mermaid show in?
There is, but it's closed. It's been closed for like a long time now.
Anyway, continuing on.
Then Animal Kingdom, Timon and Pumbaa, Simba, Nori. I just combined Nemo and Dory. This is what happens when you try to read too fast.
Nori,
Nemo
seaweed,
and Dory. Yeah. What's that?
Nori is seaweed.
Okay, there you go. And then Bambi and Thumper, which again, this feels very thin for Animal Kingdom. I feel like there should be more for such a big park, but
Yeah, it's definitely very heavy towards Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, any other snubs that we can think of in here that should have been in there?
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's any other ones that really stand out. Yeah.
I can't think of any other ones.
Yeah, I feel like, though, if you really wanted to get into it, like pretty much every series you could say, well, what about these characters? Like there's no lack of characters to say that should be included in a 50th.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, there it is.
It's done. We don't have to talk about it anymore.
You either like it or you don't.
Yep.
Yeah.
Don't.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I like a lot of them. I'm like that there's a Figment one. I'll definitely get a picture in front of Figment and, probably the other ones. Although we still haven't heard what the interactive piece of these are.
I'm fully expecting just a Magic Band type thing.
See, I'm just assuming there's going to be some sort of interactive thing with the app, like maybe like augmented reality kind of thing or something.
Yeah, well, or I was thinking like you scan either a Magic Band or your phone and then, it does something. I don't know.
I mean, now that these are installed, I mean, they're pretty much, I mean, they're not all installed, I don't think, but they're started installing them, so.
Yeah, I guess, maybe we'll be able to see something.
Find out soon.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's see. What else we got here? Well, we talked about the Vault collection already, right?
Yep.
Then there's the new original song, You Are the Magic. We got a preview of that. I don't know if you watched the video.
I did, actually.
Found it very catchy, even though we're not getting all of it. We're just getting little pieces.
So, I will say this, is that I watched that video, and, I've been very... I love Happily Ever After, and this is giving me a similar vibe, which is good. Yeah. Like, I feel like they've definitely hit that same mark that when you watch the show, you're going to feel good about it. So, this is, going back to last week talking on popular opinions. I didn't think Wishes was all that good.
Oh, man, you're going to make some people mad.
I like Happily Ever After.
Happy Ever After was better.
Yeah, I like Wishes was okay. Like, the music was okay. But I felt Happily Ever After hit it better. Like the cue with the show and everything else, it just... I felt like it was a better put together piece for a fireworks show. And I think that this is going to do the same thing. I think You Are the Magic is it's going to be up there.
No, I 100% agree with that. I think this looks amazing. I also love the fact that the person who wrote it is not only a tremendously successful songwriter, right? Won a bunch of Grammys. Yeah, but he was also a cast member, and he was in Festival of the Lion King and Tarzan Rocks, which is, I mean, it's just kind of cool. I mean, he's got 18 Grammy nominations, won 7 of them. I mean, and so this is somebody that knows what they're doing, but also is a cast member, which I think adds something to it, right? Because he gets it, right? So, like, I don't know. It sounds really cool. I'm excited for the show. I'm excited to see it. I agree with you. I think the thing with Wishes is that it went on for so long. It just became a thing where you became resistant to change, right? Because it was like, okay, this show's been going on for so long, and it just kind of holds a piece of nostalgia for me, right? Like it's a show I saw when I was younger, and I just, so people were sad when it went away. But Happily Ever After, I agree with you, is a better show. I mean, it's objectively better. Like, you can't even really argue it, right? I mean, during Wishes, all you ever saw was just a purple color on the castle. I mean, the projection effects are amazing. The fireworks in that show are amazing. I mean, it's overall better. And I'm sure this is going to be even better now with the projections on Main Street and everything. I mean, it's going to be cool.
Yeah. And further to that is, like, Wishes, it had some good moments in it, but overall, again, just not just the fireworks and the projections, but for me, the music is very much a part of it. Like, it ties all of that together. Yeah. And Happily Ever After felt a lot more thought out than Wishes. Like, Wishes was like, sure, here's the overall, or, the overture for Wishes, but it was a bunch of, it was more about, slapping all these other songs together into the show. I know Happily Ever After does the same thing, but I feel it does it a little bit more logically, but then also the music kind of comes back into it. Like, the way that they bookended the show feels a lot better with Happily Ever After, with the overture. So
I like in Happily Ever After too, how they have some, like, different versions of songs in it, like they like Love Is an Open Door in Happily Ever After. They have like a whole different version of that song that's not in the movie. You know what I mean? But you still recognize the song.
Yeah. It's specifically tuned to the show. It's not just inserting clips from these other shows. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to miss Happily Ever After, but I am excited to see this. It's interesting though too. I was thinking about this the other day because I thought that this was maybe just their 50th anniversary show, but they're calling it Disney Enchantment. Like, that doesn't connote, 50th anniversary to me, right? Like, it's just a new show.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like, that this is supposed to be the next cycle. And I have to wonder if maybe Disney is committing themselves to, letting these shows run for, 3 or 4 years or something like that, and then cycling them out, because
keeping it fresh.
Yeah. And I think to your point about things like Wishes or, what was it called?
Illuminations.
Thank you. Illuminations. I was like, what was the show before Harmonious? Now I can't remember anymore. But, but yeah, stopping these shows from getting to a point where, like you said, they're so drawn out that one, they look dated, and 2, it becomes a nostalgia thing where people dig in their heels about anything new. So it is in Disney's best interest to at least cycle them out a little more frequently. And I feel like, 5 years on a show is a good run.
Yeah.
And it gives it enough time that, realistically, most people can go and experience the show, at least once or twice. And then you get something new, right? And then that also keeps the overall park experience, every couple of years, it's, you're not just going and rewatching the same fireworks show that you saw 5 or 10 years ago. People are going out of their way to go, I want to see the new show, right?
Yeah, and they're updating it with newer movies and newer properties that I mean, they're keeping it fresh, right?
Yeah.
And I think with the technology now, they can do that so much easier, right? These projection shows, they can build in, Imagineering, and then they can do whatever they want with it. It's like they don't have to build a new infrastructure to do it. They just can change the music up, I mean, it's not easy to do, obviously, but these are things, it's easier now with the technology. Cause I was thinking about Harmonious, right? And like, if you see the barges they built for Harmonious, they are insane, right? Like, so for me, it's like they can't scrap that show after 5 years, but they could use the same equipment and redo the whole show. Yep. Like, because of how the technology is now, right? Like, they can keep those same barges and have a brand new show utilizing the same barges, because they can project stuff onto the water screens. They can shoot fireworks out from anywhere. Like, they set themselves up with this infrastructure where they can change these shows up forever and always have something new going on, like you said. And I think that's what they're going for. I think you're right. I don't think we're going to see another 20-year fireworks show. Like, that's just not going to happen again.
Yeah. And at least not, or yeah, they'll keep changing up the show, and I think it'll also lead to, this infrastructure being more modular, because, like you said, the previously it was like, there was a lot of custom built stuff, and I mean, really, this is still custom built, but they're being smarter about it in that. Yeah, they're not just building like, here's a show that we're building. They have all that underneath technology there to say, here's a framework, and we can build inside of this framework. And then I would expect in, 15, 20 years, you'll probably see them upgrade their equipment again, or go to whatever the next version of that is. But it won't be detrimental to the show. Like again, the thing with Illuminations was that, the entire show was built, or all the equipment was built specifically for that show. So changing out pieces of it was like, you couldn't change a part of the show. You couldn't change, sequencing or anything like that.
Exactly.
But now they can do that. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it too. It keeps, like you said, it keeps things fresh. It keeps it more interesting, going forward, because that every couple of years you'll have something new to look at.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's probably easier to create an entire new nighttime show than it is to do a nighttime parade or even a daytime parade, because you don't have to build anything, right? Like, you're not, except for Harmonious, which they obviously built a lot. But like for Magic Kingdom, like, they're not building anything new here. Well, they're just putting,
And I feel that, with the way that this projection technology works, is that they're also able to do things in scale. So they start off with, a smaller model. And I remember seeing this is, that they have like a model of the castle, and they start with all their stuff projected on there. And then they test it all on the smaller scale, and then they bring it to the bigger scale. So they don't have to, like you say, they don't have to build or, do everything at full scale right away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
With the exception of Harmonious. I'm telling you, Trevor, when you get there and you see the barges for Harmonious, like, I've tried to explain how big they are, and anybody who's been recently, it's absurd how large these barges are. Like, I was in shock by it.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean, it's almost like when you see why am I blanking on the word? The building that they're putting Guardians in, how huge that building is.
Mm-hmm.
What do they usually call those? Why am I blanking on the name of those buildings?
The former Allen's Energy Adventure.
Yeah,
building?
but I mean, there's the name for like those backstage buildings that they show building, right? A show building, right?
Yeah.
Usually you can't see those buildings, but the one for Guardians is so large it's impossible not to see. It's kind of the same thing with these Harmonious barges. They are at a scale that I just have not seen at Disney. Like, there's a lot of scale, and I mean, Tron feels that way too. When you go by Tron looks, in pictures, it looks big. But when you see Tron in person, it's like, it's kind of whoa,
It
like,
is a big building, yeah.
And I mean, I don't even mean the building. I just mean the canopy and like the thing there. I mean, it's just going by on the people mover and looking at it from far away. It's big. Like, I can't even imagine what it's going to be like to stand under it or to ride it, like the scale of some of the stuff that they're doing is amazing. So, I know we kind of went off on a tangent here, but I think I'm glad that they got the right people to do this. And I think it should be really good. So, yeah. All right.
All right. Last thing on the list.
Disneyland.
Yeah. Sorry, this is the new after hours event at Disneyland Park called Disney's Merriest Nites, or sorry, I'm not
Disney Merriest Nites.
Disney Merriest Nites. Okay.
It doesn't roll off the tongue, does it?
Yeah.
It's not their best name yet. But this is basically their Christmas, their holiday party. It's an after hours event, like they've been doing lately. There's only, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dates for this event.
Oh, so wow.
It's a very exclusive event. Yeah, and it's supposed to be in limited capacity after hours access. I'm going to say the price of this is going to be pretty high. Like, they haven't said what it is yet, but it's going to be high.
Yeah, for sure. Here's something interesting is that I'm reading through the description of this, and they actually mention Kermit the Frog, Miss Piggy, and their friends joining in on this one.
That's interesting. It says Muppet Antics. It's interesting. So are they going to have like live Muppet performers there? Because that would be pretty cool.
I mean, kind of like the Muppet Show in Liberty Square.
Liberty Square, yeah.
We could see them doing something like that.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Although I still can't get over New Kermit. New Kermit is just ruining Kermit for me. I just can't do it. The guy, his voice is so bad. It just doesn't sound. It sounds like me doing a bad impression of Kermit, like me trying to do it. Like, get somebody better.
But it's an artist's interpretation, Tom.
Okay, no, this is a different thing, Trevor. This is a different thing. It's not the same thing. Okay, this is like if Mickey Mouse came back and like Mickey Mouse has got a voice that doesn't even sound anywhere near Mickey Mouse.
Hi guys, I'm Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm saying, because that's basically what the new Kermit is. The new Kermit is just like, I'm not even going to try how bad it is. It's, but it sounds terrible. Like, there was in that one commercial, and I was like, no. I know the old guy was a jerk, and they fired him because he's a jerk, but get that guy back. He's way better.
I'm sorry. Like, I know I have my own things that I get triggered about, but it's just so funny seeing how triggered you're getting about this.
Yeah, I'm so it drives me crazy. Like, luckily I don't have to see Kermit all the time, because if I had to, I'd be really mad. Yeah, luckily Disney doesn't seem to care about the Muppets anymore, because if they did a Muppet movie now with the new Kermit, I would have a hard time. Well,
you get to see how it fares with the Haunted Mansion show coming.
Yeah, the Haunted Mansion show.
And yeah, obviously he's going to be part of the Christmas stuff, which actually this brings up an interesting question, because the Muppet Christmas Carol is, that was a really good movie.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah, absolutely.
And thinking about it now, there is definitely some movement there for doing some Christmas stuff with it. Like, you could get like the Bob Cratchit version of Kermit, or performing songs from Muppet Christmas Carol and stuff like that. So it's interesting.
I'm also just reading about this event, and it seems like they're doing something kind of cool here, where they're only, they're doing like mini parties within the party.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. So 3 more character hosted Halloween parties await you, with the tropical party hosted by Lilo and Stitch in Adventureland, a wintertime celebration with Elsa in Fantasyland, and Buzz Lightyear taking the holidays to new heights in Tomorrowland. So like, yeah, it's like mini parties. It's kind of cool. It's an interesting sounding event. I did notice in the fine print that they said, what was it? Critter Country and Galaxy's Edge will not be available during this party.
Of course. Because, I think they don't want to touch on Life Day with Galaxy's Edge.
Why not? I think a lot of people would show up to a Life Day celebration.
I totally agree with you, but I feel like they would be looking for the cringy version, and they wouldn't get that. So
how many people listening to this do you think don't know about the Life Day thing?
Oh, if not, you guys can look on YouTube and see.
Yeah, go on YouTube. The whole thing is on YouTube.
Yeah, you can see how bad it really was.
Yeah, we won't get into it, but Google it if you don't know about it. Yeah, because I know some Star Wars fans aren't even aware of the whole Life Day debacle, but go check it out.
Yeah. So yeah, no Critter Country, no no Galaxy's Edge. But yeah, I mean, the rest of it, I like the fact that they are thinking in terms of the different lands, right? Like, giving each land its own take on Christmas. Because really that's always been a thing. If you really think about it, like, everyone hits Main Street, and Main Street is beautiful, and you get all that decorations. When you get into the other lands, like, they all kind of, I feel like they've always had their own little things, but it's never been as pronounced as it was on Main Street. And I know they've been getting better at it in the last couple of years, but then again, also in Disneyland, like you said, it's very different. Disneyland's a very different layout and feel and all that. But yeah, having these individual parties where it's like, hey, I want to go and see what's going on with Lilo and Stitch, or I want to go and see this Buzz Lightyear thing. I think that's a good way to sell a party type or an after hours type event. Like, it is definitely offering something, but it's also giving people the choice to go and decide what part of it they want to do. Whereas, like my gripe with some of the other after hours was it's like, hey, they're offering a parade and fireworks, which is basically you're being forced into the hub. Yeah. But then everything else outside is like, well, you're just doing the rides, right? You're just hitting up the lands and you're just doing the rides. This to me feels a little bit more value, and it gives you a reason to kind of just explore the park and see what you happen upon versus feeling like you're forced into specific events.
Yeah, and I should mention, too, that there's I don't think we said in New Orleans Square that Princess Tiana is going to be doing a Bayou-inspired celebration. And then in Frontierland, Miguel is going to be doing, from Coco, is going to be doing a dance-filled fiesta.
Yeah.
I love this idea. It's just
Navidad.
Yeah, I mean, this is, like you said, it's kind of brilliant. It's spreading out the crowds, and it's doing something where you can choose. But again, Trevor, I say to you, if they would do a Life Day celebration and Galaxy's Edge, right? Like, I feel like that would be the most popular mini party, like, of all of these.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I mean, yeah, I know you're right.
I'm right.
I know you're right, but it's just like, I'm waiting for Disney to do it, and I'm waiting for the reaction.
There's some Imagineer over at Imagineering that's like, we got to do a Life Day thing. Like, and just everyone's like, no, we're not doing that.
I'm betting we have 2 more years tops
until Life Day. Okay.
Yeah, I feel like it probably won't. Not this year, because the thing is that if they do. The tricky part is that because Galaxy's Edge exists on both coasts, they can't do one and not the other, right?
They could do both. Yeah, they have to do both.
But this year, because of the 50th at Disney World, they're probably just backing off on that because, coming out of COVID and the 50th and everything, it probably doesn't make sense. I'm betting either they'll start looking at it next year or the year after. And the reason I'm thinking not next year is that with the Galaxy or with the cruiser opening, that may also defer a lot of things because, they're going to be figuring out the cruiser.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
It's possible.
So, yeah,
all right, we're almost at 2 hours. We need to wrap this thing up, man.
Okay. All right. So, let's, so I know, unfortunately Becky had to leave already, but, just a quick shout out to her for joining us and sharing her trip report with us. That was awesome. So thank you again, Becky, if you happen to come back and listen to this later. As usual.
And this was a spur of the moment thing, by the way, Jeremy, so don't get mad. If you were in the Discord, I might have invited you, but you were in the Discord.
It was literally, I saw the conversation happening too. I was actually, so while you were talking in Discord, I was actually in another Discord with, for an online game. So I was talking to a bunch of other people, but I saw your conversation going with Becky. And so it was a very organic thing that happened.
Yeah, and literally what happened was I was writing the show and I popped on Discord just to see what everyone was up to. And Becky had mentioned she just got back and she just mentioned something about the Haunted River Country shirt and about the Skipper thing. And I was like, you know what? Why don't you come on and tell us about it? Because I didn't feel like, she wanted to type out everything. So it's like, I want to hear about all this. So come on. So yeah, listen, Jeremy, we'll get you on one of these days. Please don't be offended.
Yeah.
So we appreciate all your contributions.
Exactly.
This was just a spur of the moment kind of thing. So
Okay, so back to the wrap up.
yeah, sorry.
No, it's good. We're all good here. So yeah, if you guys, if you want to, share your own trip report with us, or if you have questions or comments or anything, you can always email us at welcomehomepodcast@gmail.com. So, feel free if you guys want to drop us a line. If you want to connect with us on Facebook, you can find us as Welcome Home Podcast. And we also have the Facebook group, Welcome Home Disney Waitlist, which we've been talking about throughout the show. A lot of our listener questions come from there and the Discord. So if you happen to be on Facebook and want to join our group, please do so. Just a disclaimer to that. We are a no drama group and we respect everybody's opinion. So, it's kind of the thing where like people are generally pretty good, but there's lots of other Facebook groups out there that can, especially around Disney stuff. We don't want to be like those other Facebook groups. So just keep that in mind if you join the group. We definitely want to have a conversation, but keep it respectful because, we want everyone there to have a good time and be able to share their thoughts like we do on this show. So make sure you guys check that out. And also if you guys want to subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is Welcome Home Podcast, or Instagram, which is Welcome Home Pics. Those are a great place to, whenever we do live shows. So, we have the Halloween episode that'll be coming up. You guys can catch those on there. Also, as we're getting back to the parks, you'll be able to see more content on those channels. So, keep yourself subscribed there so you don't miss anything. And if you guys want some merchandise, go to store.welcomehomepodcast.com and check out the new store on Spring. There's some new items up there. And it's with the original Welcome Home Podcast logo. You can get, the usual stuff, t-shirts, mugs, but, go check it out and see if there's something you like.
Yeah, fanny packs.
Yeah, you can get a fanny pack if you want. It's,
And Damon has personally offered if he sees somebody wearing the fanny pack in the parks, he's going to buy you dinner. That's what he said. So he said it on Facebook. I didn't, he said he would get you dinner. So,
I guess, if you want a fanny pack, go for it.
New challenge right there.
And we do have our Patreon now. So make sure if you guys want to support the podcast, go to patreon.com/welcomehomepod. So it's not just for supporting the podcast, but if you subscribe there, you do get, depending on the different tiers, there is actually some exclusive Patreon merchandise you can get. So it's a Patreon exclusive logo that you would get on your merchandise. And it also gets you access to the Discord server that we've been talking about. So, a bit of a win-win there.
Yep.
And last but not least, if you guys happen to be on iTunes, we do appreciate the reviews. Keep them coming because it's a good way for us to get some constructive criticism. But also we like hearing if you guys are enjoying stuff or not enjoying stuff because, it's part of the podcast is we like to know what our listeners are actually taking from this.
Yep, very true. And don't forget to subscribe to Welcome Home Podcast so you can be reminded every time we release a new episode. So you can find our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, just about any podcast app you can find out there. You can find us. Just look for Welcome Home and, look for the one that says Disney and DVC. Just a reminder to our listeners, Welcome Home Podcast is for entertainment only. We are not employed by the Walt Disney Company, and as such, any and all opinions we express on the show are our own, so please consult a DVC representative or Disney cast member for more information about anything we talked about today. Huge thank you to our sponsors, DVC Resale Market and Monera, for sponsoring this episode. And also, again, big thank you to Becky for joining. Join us next time for more Disney Parks discussion. Of course, more DVC talk. We hope to see you all real soon.
This is Skipper Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, signing off from Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Do a huddle when we hit its hair. How she can cuddle is no man's affair. I looked around from pole to pole, found her in a sugar bowl.